This is the Big Deal Podcast, brought to you and powered by New Covenant Baptist Church. And on this podcast, we're asking the question, what's the big deal? But all things Bible, theology, and even culture. I'm Justin.
I'm Brad.
Welcome to the Big Deal. Brad, how you doing?
Man, I'm good. How you doing?
Good, man. Hey, this is episode 15.
We're crushing.
Yeah. Most podcasts have crashed and burned by now.
But we're just on takeoff, baby.
Yeah. We're just content with our tens of listeners.
Tens. And also, we've got the greatest, literature ever written.
Source material just keeps on going, don't it?
It's great.
Yeah. It's the Bible, folks.
Yeah, the Bible.
It's the Bible. So I got a question. We're going to break up all that ice today.
Yeah.
And we're going to start with this question. All right. What was my question? Oh, no. I had it. Goodness gracious.
What is the matter with you?
I got the brain fog, man.
You do?
I'm gonna remember. I'm not gonna miss this. All right.
No. We might have to edit out some of this.
No, we're not gonna edit this out. I don't need to. I will remember it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's back in my brain now. All right, Brad.
Yes.
What is the most difficult skill in your opinion? Like, what's like the most difficult thing to do in the world?
In the world?
Yeah.
Hit a fastball.
Oh, in baseball?
Yeah.
Is it just because you're in baseball season right now?
It's that Braves got to win one game.
I know, it's a big game.
Got to win one game.
Yeah.
But I think in sports, they will say the hardest thing to do is to hit a baseball with a bat.
You think hitting a baseball with a bat is more difficult than like tracking, the physics involved in landing something on the moon or Mars?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, because you get days and days and weeks to plan that.
Uh-huh.
When a pitcher releases a baseball at 100 miles an hour and it's moving in a direction that you can't possibly just predict, and you have to put a bat on it, you have to start your swing about the time he releases the ball.
Yeah.
So the physics your brain does automatically in that 10th of a second is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the success rate for the average batter is like putting it in play.
Oh, I know. Unless you're Ohtani.
Yeah, 27 to 30%.
He's nuts, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. I mean, but even then, it did take years to get there. Like, it took it. You can't
since they were 5 years old.
Yeah, you can't just walk up and hit a.
I don't think people realize how hard it is.
Yeah. Deion Sanders, one of the greatest athletes of all time, multi-sport athlete.
Yeah.
Played both sides of football, played in Major League Baseball. He says hitting the fastball is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
In all sports.
And he went to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And I think the World Series.
And the World Series, yep.
And he coaches Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they lost when he was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it. That's the first thing that popped in my head. What is the hardest thing in the world?
I think that's on the list. I was thinking more about it's like landing on Mars or something like that.
We haven't done that yet, so it must be hard.
Yeah. It's
like not with
difficult.
humans.
Yeah, people hit fastballs almost every day of the summer.
Yes.
Yeah, every year.
Yeah.
We've not ever done anything like that. So.
Yeah, but one day it might be like routine.
Yeah, it might be. As routine as hitting
We drive
fastball.
remote control cars on Mars.
Yeah. That's wild.
That is insane.
That's so wild.
That is so crazy.
A remote control helicopter, even. Yeah,
What is happening? How is this? Is this true? What is happening?
I think it is. There's a lot of people that don't believe we ever went to the moon.
Yeah.
You heard this?
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of people
staged it just to fake out the Russians.
Yeah. And I don't even think it's even, I should say a lot of people, I think it's like almost a mainstream idea now.
I will tell you this, Buzz Aldrin will punch you right in the mouth.
I bet he would.
No, he literally punched a dude in the
really?
mouth. Yeah, he was like 80 years old, and this dude set up a fake, meet Buzz Aldrin moon landing, and he, confronted him with a microphone, y'all didn't really land on the moon and all stuff. And he's like, get away from me. Dude's in his face, and he's like, whop, and he punches him right in the mouth.
Dude, could you imagine being, the risk level to do that is so high. All the pioneers, man, they're like, we're probably going to die.
We're probably going to die.
We're launching ourselves on a rocket.
Yeah.
Into space to go to the moon.
Yeah, and land
we're
there.
Probably going to die
and come back. We don't even know like 100% sure what the surface is like.
Yeah,
We've
it might be cheese.
It might be cheese. It was so disappointed it wasn't cheese.
Yeah, and then for only to come back and everyone's like, you didn't really do it.
Yeah, and they had to stay in quarantine for like 90 days or more. In this little bitty pod because they thought, what if there's a disease up there?
Yeah, virus or something.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still have those
also,
things.
have you ever read like the things that people see in space? Like there's some weird stuff that happened.
What do people see?
Like phantom things and hear weird noises. They can't explain what it was, that sort of thing. Yeah.
How about
Goofy
that?
stuff, man.
Yeah.
Of course, nobody cares because we have F-18s with like footage of UFOs that we don't know what the heck they are, and nobody cares.
That's one of the wildest things. Like you see the footage, and it's like that little white pill floating around, going into the water, coming out of the water,
and the fighter pilot be like, "What? Is this?"
And then you go like, "I'm gonna turn on the news. We're gonna see something about this on CNN or Fox or something."
Yeah.
And all that's on there is
Taylor Swift's new album dropped. It's like somebody shot at the ex-president.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift had an album. We don't even care.
Oh, it turns out both of our presidential nominees are liars.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
It turns out one of them is not fit to run for office next time.
Yeah.
But we're just going to leave him in as president for now.
Forget about
while Israel bombs Beirut.
Forget about the aliens.
Yeah. I guess there are things out there harder than hitting a fastball. It makes no sense, man. I don't know if it's like we're just trying to get through.
Hey, we're going to take a side road. This is just going to be fun.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to get to the Bible eventually. Folks.
Yes. Okay? But I don't know if we're just overwhelmed or people are just trying to make it through life if we can't handle all the information coming in. But there have been 3 attempts in the history of the world of the United States on former presidents, and 2 of them have happened in like the last month against Donald Trump, and like it's in the news cycle for like 3 days, and we're back to the Braves.
Yep.
And it's like the government released top secret files today of actual UFOs. We don't know what the heck they are. They're moving at Mach 2 and then they stop. They don't seem to have any problem with inertia. They're going under the water. They're popping out of the ocean. On to Taylor Swift. And like nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like literally, we don't even know what to think. We're like, I guess somebody's taking care of that,
Yeah. What do you think it is, man? What do you think's going on?
I have not a foggiest idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. And the fact that like it seems like somebody should be pulling their hair out on TV over it. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah, you'd think. I don't know.
Why are there so many people hiding in bushes with AR-15s taking a shot at Donald Trump? Like we should tell people to quit doing that.
Yeah.
I don't care who you're voting for.
I think though, like that, the frustration with the news cycle and stuff is like an unappreciation of what the news actually is. Though it's not news. That's like it might have used to have been news.
Yeah,
that might have used to be what it is. But now, what it actually is. It's ad revenue machine, right?
Yeah, I guess that's why people don't take it seriously anymore.
It's like that's what the news is. It's the same, financial situation that social media is. Like, why is the news free? Why is social media free? Well, it's because they make their money on grabbing your attention, and so you'll watch ads because that's how they make the money. They sell ads, and so. What should you expect then on the news? Things that grab people's attention.
I guess. You know who did this? This is back in my day.
Oh, yeah.
We read things called newspapers and magazines.
Yeah.
They used to be these things you printed on paper that we don't have anymore because that's way too slow.
For real?
Way too slow.
On paper?
Yeah, on paper. There were aisles in the grocery store you might. And the most ridiculous ones were things like called the National Enquirer, and it was like the biggest. Think about
tabloid.
It was like a tabloid.
Okay,
it was the most absurd headlines, like Bat Boy invades Washington D.C. Just like goofy stuff, man. And my grandmother was subscribed to it. She had the National Enquirer. When I was a little kid, I used to read that thing, and now it is
all news is that
it is. They were like, man, we should just become the National Enquirer.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is. Like 1 out of every 5 stories the National Enquirer will run in its absurdity would turn out to be true.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, broken clocks, right?
Yeah.
Every once in a while,
It's like not every conspiracy theory is kooky.
Yeah. I was listening to someone, maybe you told me about this the other day. I can't remember where it came from, but it was someone that was saying I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't believe in any conspiracies. And they were like, I mean, none?
Yeah.
Like, you think the government's batting 1,000?
Yeah, it was a comedian. I've seen that.
Yeah. It's a comedian. Yeah, it's like the government's batting 1,000, right?
Yeah.
Like, perfect, right?
Conspiracy theories I believe in. Oswald probably didn't act alone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I just don't see it, man.
You think like CIA was in there?
I don't know who it was, but there's too much weird junk that went on with that. It's just weird.
That's JFK, folks.
Yeah. I forget that people are so young. That's like ancient history to people now.
Yeah,
but it was not ancient history.
It's what, 80 years ago?
Shut up. Really?
Isn't it?
60s.
It's 60s.
Is that 80 years ago?
No, 60 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just bad at math.
Well, I can't keep up with anymore.
Yeah.
Time makes I can't tell. I'll be like, didn't that happen a couple of years ago? And like Facebook pops up like, no, that's 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah.
So you think that one might be right
That's
on?
probably, I would not be surprised.
But the moon landing, you think that's
I think that's legit. I don't think that we faked that thing.
Yeah, I don't think so either. No.
Yeah. I hope not. That would be so bad if we did, just to mess with the Russians, because there was a big space race going on.
Yeah.
And we were just trying to show the Russians we went up on them. But the thing is, we didn't just go once. We sent a bunch of people.
I know it.
We had to fake it a lot of times.
Yeah. I think we went. I don't have any good reason to doubt that we went.
No.
What else do you think? Do you think Bigfoot is real?
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's not real.
Yeah, I think Bigfoot's real, but he's actually very fuzzy, and that's why every picture taken of him looks out of focus. That's a Mitch Hedberg joke.
That's so funny.
Maybe Bigfoot's just fuzzy.
What else do you think? Aliens real now?
I don't think aliens are real.
Or if they are, they haven't visited.
I think God's got like a sign up there in the
What do you think
that
all those pill, UFO stuffs are? Things are.
I think those come from Atlantis.
Atlantis.
Yeah, I think they're popping them out of the ocean. That's the only thing I can think of. Man, we don't mess with those folks down there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's funny.
Yeah. So anyway, the Bible.
King Triton.
Yeah. Aquaman down there.
Yeah.
That's what he used to sound like on the Justice League when I was a kid.
Yeah.
He would summon dolphins and it went.
Yeah.
Because that's what telepathy sounds like.
That's right. Well, everyone, this just in, Brad is a conspiracy theorist, okay? It is interesting, though, when it's all said and done, that, like,
what was the
gets
guy's
the
name with
news?
the island?
Yeah.
Weinstein?
Oh, Weinstein. Yeah. Is it Weinstein?
No. Crap.
It's not. It's a stain.
Yeah.
Epstein.
He did not kill himself.
He didn't.
I don't think that's true.
Okay.
Like all the cameras that were watching him at once go out. The guard
murdered.
goes to take a pee break or something, and they come back in and no, he's hung himself. It's like way too many rich people had way too much to lose if all his info came out. I'm pretty sure Epstein did not kill himself.
Yeah. Who knows? I don't really care.
Somebody knows.
When it comes to conspiracy theories, I just end up, and maybe this is why there's it's not on the news and stuff, is because there's folks like me. It's like, I just don't really care.
I don't care. That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't affect anything about
I got too much stuff going on.
I got a lot to do today, man.
Yeah. It's outside my parameters.
Yeah.
I don't have to care. Yeah. That's actually the biggest thing of social media, maybe, is making people think they have to care about everything.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, what they call it, virtue signaling and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like, man,
every time something happens, you gotta come out with a statement.
Gotta come out with statement. Gotta pick a side. Israel or Palestine.
Yeah.
You gotta Ukraine and Russia. We need to have a big opinion on that stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to have an opinion on everything.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Vaccines or no vaccine.
Vaccine, no vaccine. That's right.
Which president nominee do you like?
You got to vote for one of these guys.
Yeah.
Who's it going to be for? Well, what if I don't even vote? What if I just say I don't care?
Yeah.
So, meet the old boss, same as the new boss. Everybody's bought. It don't matter. They're all given to the same, both guys.
Yeah.
It's just, here's $100 million for you. Here's $100 million for you. Don't matter which one of you gets elected.
Yeah.
You both owe me.
Yeah.
Hey, folks with money to throw around.
Yeah. Yeah. Those things just don't end up affecting my everyday.
No.
Maybe I'm naive about it.
I tell people all the time, who you vote for mayor and city council matters more than who you vote for.
No, that's
president.
super true.
Yes.
Yeah, the more local it is what really
the more
affects
it really affects you.
Yeah.
So but all we care about is the president election and get a 20% voter turnout to vote for your councilman who you can actually see at Walmart and be like, hey man, let's not change the zoning law and log the park.
Yeah.
That little or hey.
There was a thing on abortion that came out a couple years ago that was a big deal, that so much of the headlines when it came to the pro-life, pro-choice debate thing was about the national level, like which president you elect, right?
Yeah,
is going to affect these things, and it does have effect. Trump put in the
conservative justices, yeah,
and it had an effect, but it looked at the statistics about what actually changed the reality of abortions, how many abortions were happening in America. And by and large, it was actually like very heavily lopsided. Local representation, local voting, statewide voting and stuff had a much larger effect on it than the national.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And even whenever a Democratic president was elected, abortions went down.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because what happened is for instance, the state of Alabama, because there was a Democratic elected president, the state of Alabama, locked down on abortion all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
And limited it. And, local municipalities limited Planned Parenthood and all these kinds of things. And so it decreased abortion. And what it shows you is actually that the local and statewide issues are actually, when it comes down to it, much more important than the national level.
Well, actually, the most important thing is not the law. The best way to prevent abortion, 100%, is if a young woman who gets pregnant is supported by her partner, number one.
Oh, yeah.
Number two, if she's supported by her family.
Yeah.
That's how you cut down abortion right there. If she feels like nobody will help me and this is going to destroy my life and I'm all on an island by myself, she's probably getting an abortion.
Yeah.
She'll drive to Colorado, wherever she needs to go.
That's why the community is so important.
Absolutely essential.
Yeah.
So you got a 17-year-old whose boyfriend's like, I don't care, and his mom's like, their mom, dad are ashamed or whatever.
Yeah.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah. Everyone's focused on
That's why they don't care about the aliens, right there.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Who cares about the aliens when you got
Who cares?
Life?
I wonder what sort of healthcare ideas they might have. Like for us,
aliens.
If they can get here and shoot little pills at Mach 2 with no inertia, then hey, maybe we could get some cheaper meds.
Yeah, maybe.
Might be nice.
That'd be nice. I
was
agree.
one time in a foreign country and got very sick because that's what I like to do when I go overseas is get real sick because I can't tell anybody no. I just eat their food or whatever.
Yeah.
And I got sick and I went in the pharmacy and I said, I'm real sick. I'd like to have some antibiotics and a pain pill. And they just gave me whatever I wanted. It was like 50 cents. It's like, I'd like some Levaquin and some Lortabs, please. And they're like, well, here you go.
Yeah. The United States has the most expensive drugs in the world.
And it's harder for us to get them. They just throw them at you in the overseas.
How you see that?
I didn't put them things in my suitcase, so I didn't want to go to prison when I came back.
I saw this thing the other day. It was talking about all the GLP-1 drugs, the Ozempic and everything.
Yeah.
And how much more expensive they were in the U.S.
Dude, Ozempic kind of scares me.
Yeah, does it?
I think it doesn't just get rid of fat. I think it also eats your muscle, doesn't it?
No. It's a hormone. It's a hormone. It's basically like a hormone replacement.
I just saw people lose so much weight. I'm like, oh.
Well, people that lose a lot of weight quickly that aren't eating protein and exercise will lose muscle.
Yeah.
But basically, it reduces your appetite. It acts like this hormone in your gut that communicates with your brain to tell you you're full. Right?
Dude, that's just I'm not laughing at people.
Yeah.
I had my yearly checkup this year. We have to do it every year, right?
Yeah.
And this year I was in there. I was in there with this young guy. And we'll talk about the Bible.
We'll get to the Bible.
He has to go through this checklist.
Yeah.
And he's like, so he draw my blood. And I'm thinking they're going to check my triglycerides. I haven't eaten. I took this thing late. It's like 11 o'clock. I'm a little hangry.
Yeah.
And I can tell this dude's nervous. He's got his iPad. And he's like, hey, are you sad? So he said, are you sad? And I said, yes. He goes, well, what? Tell me about that. I said, dude, I'm a pastor and I'm a chaplain in the military. I deal with savages. Savage people. You wouldn't believe the stories I hear. I'm sad all the time. I've been doing this for 21 years. My son just moved out of the house. I'm a sad person. He's like, oh, I said, I'm not going to kill myself or nothing, but I'm sad, man. There's some sad stuff happening.
Yeah.
And then it was like, he said, so have you gained a lot of weight? in the last 5 years. And the poor guy, he doesn't know me. And so he doesn't. And I go, I pulled him the old Zach Galifianakis thing. I said, I'm not that fat, man. I'm not that fat. And he goes, no, I don't mean you're fat. I was like, I try, okay? I'm trying to stay off the Little Debbie's. I have a problem. I said, if I ate like I did 10 years ago, I weighed 275 pounds. Is that what you want to hear?
Yeah.
So I work out 4 times a week. It's true.
Just to be mediocre.
And then he goes, just to be mediocre. That's 100% what I said.
Yeah.
And then he said, do you have trouble like keeping off belly fat? And I said, I'm not that fat, man. This poor guy. Man, we were buddies by the end of that thing.
Yeah.
And then he asked me other questions I will not repeat on this podcast. And you know how bad I was like, what? How is that any of your business?
That's funny, man.
Oh, boy. Yeah,
Golly.
he was checking my hormones. That's what made me think of it when you talked about Ozempic as a hormone.
Yeah.
My mind immediately, I was like,
He's
this
checking
dude's
yeah.
fishing for if I got any testosterone left.
Yeah,
And the answer is probably not.
That's
I
funny.
just don't feel as aggressive as I used to.
Well, you're a middle-aged man, dude.
Dude, I'm past
You're
that.
past middle. You're over the hill, on the way down.
I'm pushing 50. I'm
Yeah.
in the fourth quarter of football.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you
Is
divide
it fourth quarter really? Are you fourth quarter?
First 20 years, first quarter.
What are you expecting to live to? 75 or something?
80. Like if
Okay.
you live to 80. Oh, I'm not in the fourth
You're
quarter.
third
I'm
quarter.
middle third quarter.
Yeah.
Game's getting interesting though.
Yep.
Fourth quarter is the best quarter of football, right? If you only could watch
true.
one quarter, you got to watch the fourth. If you watch
Hey, Georgia, Alabama showed us that Saturday night.
talking about?
Yeah.
Auburn, Arkansas, wasn't it? Auburn lost it in the last quarter too.
Last week was Auburn, Arkansas.
Who were they?
Oklahoma. Auburn.
Oklahoma. Yeah. So like you gotta watch that fourth quarter. People think 60 to 80, man. That's when you make your money for heaven.
Yeah.
Because you got all this wisdom, and hopefully you're got some sense.
Yep.
Or you can destroy your life.
Or you can destroy your life like Stephen Lawson.
Yes. Totally torpedo it.
Yeah.
Golly bum,
Man,
what's happening?
We're going to get to the Bible. Let's get to the Bible. We've been everywhere.
Speaking
today.
of people torpedoing their lives,
Yeah.
turn with us now to Genesis chapter
That's actually
35.
true. Good segue. Really good segue.
Like we drew it up.
So
the
today,
X's and O's.
So today we're gonna the next place that Genesis goes is really the story of Joseph, but kind of weaved in the story of Joseph is the absolute destruction of his brothers and like how messed up they are.
Messed up.
And Joseph is kind of like contrasted with them. And so we're going to spend this podcast talking about the meltdown of the sons of Jacob. And so we're going to look in a couple different places for that before we get to Joseph next week. So Brad, tell me about the first meltdown we see in, I guess it's chapter 34.
Okay. So Jacob has 12 boys.
Yeah.
And one daughter.
Yep.
Her name's Dinah.
Yep.
And Dinah goes off with her girlfriends to this city. Gosh, I can't remember the name of it. It's not Shechem.
Shechem.
Is it Shechem?
Yep.
And she goes to Shechem with her girlfriends, meets a prince.
Yep.
He's Prince Not Charming because he rapes Dinah.
Well, Shechem is also a person.
Well, I don't.
Shechem, son of Hamor the Hivite.
Okay.
The region. But Shechem is also called a place sometimes.
Maybe they named it after him. My road's named after somebody, so we've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah.
So
That's
they
funny.
go, and this dude rapes Dinah.
Yeah, awful.
Awful. Man, but then he says he loves her.
Yeah, weird.
So I don't know what. It's a bad scene, right?
Yeah.
And Dinah goes back and she tells her brothers or somebody, and their brothers are livid, as they should be.
Yeah.
And the prince wants to marry her. And so he's like, hey, comes to Jacob, and he's like, I love your daughter. I'll pay you whatever you want. Basically, name the bride price.
Yep.
And the brothers, Levi and who's the other one?
Simeon.
That's right. Simeon and Levi. They say, well, yeah, we'll do that. You just have to basically follow our religion, and every dude in your town has to be circumcised.
Yeah.
And he says, we'll do it. Mm-hmm. And so he goes back to the town, and he tells his guys, he's like, hey, look, these dudes are super rich. If we'll get circumcised, everything that's theirs eventually will be ours because we'll outnumber them.
Yeah.
And they're like, apparently they really trusted this guy.
Yeah.
He must have been pretty suave.
Yeah.
And they all agree and they get circumcised. And Simeon and Levi are like, all
They
right,
all get circumcised.
every single one of them.
The whole town.
The whole town. And Simeon
same day.
The same day. And Simeon and Levi. I mean, it must have been a big circumcision party. They were just throwing those schmucks back in a big pile. I don't know what it was. I don't know, man. It's bizarre. But this is what it is.
Yeah.
I was told that schmuck means the discarded foreskin.
Is that what that means?
That's what I heard. I'm not sure 100% if it's true, but I know that it's not nice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, you got to call that discarded thing something nasty. So anyway,
the turtleneck.
Oh, my wife.
cut
They cut the turtleneck off the sweater. Like, my wife is going to hear this, and she is going to wreck.
Yeah.
She's so nice and proper and good. I do not know why she married me. But anyway.
It's God's providence.
Oh, she's like the center of gravity that pulls me back to keep from breaking out of orbit. That's what it is. It's like I'm like about to pop out of orbit. And she's like, come back. You can't say that. You're a pastor. I'm like, but I'm also in the army. I feel like I did clean that up. That's what I told her. She was like, you can't go on the radio and say that circumcision is like that uncircumcised person is like a turtleneck sweater. And I was like, I thought I did good. I thought it was. And I was like, that's all.
It could have been so much worse.
Justin was like, so Brad, how would you talk about circumcision? I was like, what am I supposed to say? Anyway,
I'm here to set you up for failures like that.
Yeah, so I've just failed again. I'm sorry, Amy. You're the best. So we go, and they all get circumcised. And Simeon and Levi were like, all right, it's day 3. Mm-hmm. These old boys are laying in bed, right? They're in agony. This is not fun.
Yeah.
They take their swords, and they go house to house, and they murder every dude in the city.
Oh, my gosh.
Dude, it's a murder spree. Yeah. They kill everybody.
Yep.
Everybody. And then they loot the town.
Yep.
That's crazy. Think about that.
These are like murderous, manipulating people.
It's probably not a city like 10,000 people. Okay, it's back in the old days.
Yeah.
It's probably 400 or 500 people living in this village or something. Maybe 100 grown men.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of murdering.
Killing 100 grown men that's a deed right there, man.
That's something. And eventually people start figuring out what's happening. And they're in so much pain, they can't stop these guys.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
They killed every male, it says. They killed Hamor and his son Shechem with their swords, took Dinah from Shechem's house and went away.
Yeah, so imagine Dinah.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, she goes to be with this guy. Mm-hmm. And then they break in the house and kill him and his daddy and his friends and everybody.
I mean, there's like on one hand, like I get it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I get it for them.
But what you're seeing, though, is that these, they're a little bit unhinged, you know?
A little bit?
A little bit unhinged.
A little bit.
It's like I get killing Shechem.
Yeah.
The rapist.
Yeah.
I don't think I really get the murder of every man in that city.
Yeah.
I don't, you know what I mean?
It's not presented as a good thing.
It's not.
No. Nobody ever messed with Simeon and Levi again, I guarantee you. We're going to find out
no one ever messed with Dinah again.
These boys are ruthless.
Yeah.
What's sad is Dinah probably died alone.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't know what happened after this.
Yeah, this is a weird world.
It was bad
to live in.
And also, I think, once they got going murder killing, I guess that ball just rolls downhill. You just gotta just kill everybody.
Yeah,
can't just halfway do it because some of those guys are gonna get well.
And then they're gonna get well, and they're gonna kill you. So now you gotta kill everybody.
You gotta kill everybody. Yeah. It's like
and then they went ahead and plundered them, took their flocks, herds, donkeys, whatever was in the city and in the field.
Yeah,
might as well become a robber too.
Yeah.
They captured all their possessions, dependents, and wives. Might as well take their wives
Might
too.
as well enslave everybody.
Yeah, we're going to go enslave them too.
It got out of hand. It got out of hand. When he comes back and Reuben's like, what did you do? It just got out of hand.
Yeah.
We went in there to kill Shechem, and then his boys was like crawling, and then we had to kill them, and then it was like, well, these women are screaming and hollering.
So we enslaved
We'll just
them.
enslave them and burn their houses down. We didn't know what to do.
Can't leave the donkeys.
We didn't think that far ahead. We
Yeah.
thought, man, that's some good-looking sheep they got out there. Might as well take them.
Yeah.
They're just going to starve out here.
Yeah. So
Ain't got nobody to take care of them.
this is what Jacob says. Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have brought trouble on me, making me odious to the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites and the Perizzites. We are few in number. If they unite against me and attack me, I and my household will be destroyed." But they answered, "Should he treat our sister like a prostitute?"
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I know.
I know it, yeah.
The answer is no.
Yeah. The answer's, yeah.
And Jacob's like, well, maybe we should talk about like reciprocation and like, how do we?
Yeah. They're not wise people, right? These aren't wise men.
It was rough times.
It was rough times. And they're murderous, kind of murderous folks,
Yeah, they're not heroes.
They're not heroes.
I can be your hero, baby. They ain't them.
No, they're not heroes. And so these are the first two of the sons of Jacob to really kind of disqualify themselves from receiving the blessing of Jacob and being like this, the conduit for the seed, right?
That's right.
Being
They're
foretold
not,
from the beginning,
But Levi's people become the priesthood forever.
Levi's people do become the priesthood. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But not because of this.
Not because of this.
It's for actually some different murder.
Different murder killing. Yeah. Well, we can get to that when we get to Exodus. But
Exodus.
Yeah. There's a lot of killing in the Bible.
There is.
Lots of it. And so that's the first thing that happens.
Yep.
And then we're going to get to good old Judah.
Yep. Well, next is Reuben, actually.
Oh, Reuben. That's right. Reuben
Reuben's the
sleeps with
oldest.
his daddy's concubine, Bilhah.
Yep, that's true. Nathan Patterson's calling me.
He tried to call me. I just didn't neglect it.
Yeah.
Hey, Nathan.
Shout out to Nathan Patterson.
Yeah,
You're
we're
the
busy.
man. Hey, but we will call you back in just a minute.
That's right.
Yeah. I tell you what, brief break. I'm going to text him real quick. Break is over. Yeah, so Reuben, is a,
He's a bit of a tragic figure.
You think?
He is, I think, because when we get to the Joseph narrative in a minute, he's the only one of the other 10 boys that's got any sense. He's the one he wants to rescue Joseph.
I mean, he has sense to a degree. He also sleeps with his dad's
It's a low bar.
concubine.
Well, I mean, his dad had a bunch of them. I mean,
Oh,
golly,
man.
Dad.
Yeah.
But that's not good. But
They're all
they might have
bad.
had some drinks, and one thing led to another, and the next thing you know, you're sleeping with your dad's wife. What is happening?
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
That's bad.
So he sleeps with his dad's concubine, and it takes two to tango. Bilhah. I
Yeah.
don't know what's up with that.
Yeah.
And it says, and Israel heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dad was like, he did what? Boy, golly. And so he disqualified himself through that.
Yep.
So that was not tragic. That was stupid.
Yep.
But it's man, it's a low bar.
It's
It's a low bar of moral upstanding. It's a low bar. 'Cause
they're all
everybody
bad,
is
man.
wicked in
They
the
are
Bible.
all bad.
Yeah, it's a good thing we're so much better.
Yep. Yeah. Oh man.
Yes.
Yeah, so now
I guess
we've got.
Bilhah had children.
She did. Yeah, she had Dan and Naphtali.
Yeah, he slept with his dad's concubine and his brother's mothers.
Yeah. He's a weirdo, dude.
Dude, so weird.
Such a weirdo.
Such weirdness going on.
Oh my gosh, man.
Murdering a whole city.
Yeah.
Reuben sleeps with his dad's wife, his brother's mama.
Yeah.
What's the matter with her?
Man, if Paul was around, he'd be
Yeah.
bringing the fire.
Yeah, well,
First Corinthians, man.
that's why he is bringing the fire in the New Testament
Yep, that's
in
right.
Romans about
Yep.
the Jewish people who think, oh, by birth, we're going to be fine. He's like, have you read the Bible?
That's so true. Yeah.
Are you serious right
Yeah,
now?
like-
Not everybody who's born of Israel is Israel.
Yeah. And that's on display right now.
Yeah.
This is just because God has made a covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, it doesn't mean that their progeny are going to be covered in gold.
No.
Man, they're like, these are ruthless.
Some of them, the ground will open up and swallow them alive.
Yep.
In the judgment of God.
That happens.
Yeah.
Yep, that happens later on.
So Reuben then disqualifies himself, and then we get to Judah.
And this is, Judah. Okay, Judah's next in line, so maybe it'll be Judah. And actually, it does turn out to be. But Judah sucks too, man. Sorry, Amy. I just said a bad word.
Don't say that. You're pastors.
I have gotten in trouble for that word.
Does your wife yell at you about
I don't
that?
know
Not
if
yell,
Steph does. But I think Amy's gotten on to me before.
Amy will. She will police you right up. She's a good one.
Shout out to Amy.
Yeah,
Williams.
again. She is going to kill me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like one of the men of Shechem.
Yeah.
So
So you get to chapter 38. This is a story about Judah, who's like really the next in line.
We'll jump back to 37. We'll go ahead. 37 is when Joseph is loved more than all his brothers.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna come back. We're gonna come back to Joseph next week.
But in 38, Judah has 3 boys, and they're sorry.
Yeah.
And they're so sorry. Like this also shows in everybody who's Israel is Israel. They're so bad, God kills them.
Yeah.
Like that's what it says. It doesn't say he fell off his camel and broke his neck. It was like, this dude is so lousy, God killed him. And then there's that weird sin of Onan. Mm-hmm. So he had Levitical law.
Yeah.
We got to back this up a bit.
Yeah, okay.
Before there was Levitical law, which is weird. They still practiced it before the law of Moses, right? So if you have a brother, an older. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, dude, we are dead. This is the PG-13 podcast because the Bible makes us say these things.
All right, I'm ready.
How did Christians become such prudes? Did we read the Bible?
No.
Okay, so Judah's oldest son has a wife named Tamar, and he's a sorry dog.
Yep.
And God kills him.
Yeah.
And God kills him before he has any kids.
It says in verse 7, the Lord put him to death.
God put him to death.
Yeah.
So the Lord wasn't having it.
Yeah.
So imagine how bad this kid must be. I mean, if he let Simeon and Levi live, what was this kid up to? I don't know. He's probably torturing cats or something. Anyway, God kills him, and the Levitical law is when your older brother dies and his wife has had no children, you have to take her for your wife.
Yeah.
And the firstborn son is reckoned as his progeny with regard to inheritance.
It's Redeemer, kinsman redeemer.
It's
what it's called. It's the situation with the story of Ruth.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's related to that.
Yeah, it's called a Levirate marriage, something like that. So then the second brother, Onan, gets Tamar as a wife. Yeah. And he's like, hey, I don't want her to have no boys to inherit this stuff. I want to get his stuff. Mm-hmm. So if she gets pregnant, then I won't get it.
Yeah.
So it says Onan spilled his seed on the ground. That's what it said. Should we talk about this on the radio?
It's in the
or whatever
Bible.
we're in. This ain't the radio.
It's not the radio.
Whatever. Boomer. So I just went boomer, straight boomer. We might as well.
Podcast.
This is a podcast.
Have you heard the internet, Brad?
Oh, no. Well, I did. I was there when Al Gore invented it. I'll have you know. So, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
So, spills the seed on the ground.
So he is like keeping Tamar from basically what's at stake is Tamar's livelihood and ability to be, cared for and taken care of in her old age, right?
And also just being obedient to what you're supposed to do.
Being obedient.
Yeah.
And it's like...
It's a really weird passage, though, because...
It just doesn't fit.
Can we talk about this?
Expectations.
I'm dead serious, man.
Yeah, I think so.
Because this is misinterpreted horribly.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Because they link what Onan's doing.
Are we doing this?
I don't know.
Are we doing this?
Do we need to? I don't know what to do. I feel like the shadow of
Let's move on. Let's move on.
You want to?
Yeah.
But
let's make a wisdom call.
Is this a wisdom call?
But at this point, everyone's gonna be like, "What are y'all gonna talk about?"
I know.
All right, go ahead, Brad. Go ahead.
Have you ever heard of onanism?
I've not heard it called that.
That's what they used to call it back in the old days.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, it's basically, how can I say this the nice
Hey,
way?
let's just say this. All right, if you have children listening to you, perhaps mute it.
Perhaps. We want to help you.
Yeah, it's worth talking about. Go ahead.
So basically, this is where in the old days they turned to say like masturbation is a sin.
Yeah.
Right? This passage. And that's not what this is about.
Yeah.
This is about him having relations with her, but purposefully keeping from getting her pregnant.
Yep.
That's what's happening here.
Yeah.
And that's what the sin is. It's not like he was hiding off in his tent by himself somewhere with dirty magazines or something. That's not what's happening.
That's right.
Okay? And so God did... I can't, dude. I'm so bad. Can we edit this?
If I
make something too bad?
Yeah. Hey, you'll know it got real bad if you see just like a fade to black.
So God did not kill Onan because he was messing with his own self. Okay,
No,
if God did that, almost everybody would be dead. There would be no people left. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it ain't sin.
Yeah.
I'm just
That's
telling
just
you.
not what's happening here.
No.
That's not what's happening here.
No, it's not what's happening
Like
here.
maybe if you're having a particular parenting situation,
Yes, don't
probably
use this
don't
passage.
threaten God's
Wrath.
God's wrath.
That you're going to go blind.
He's about to kill you. Yeah, because of this, right?
No.
You know, that's not what this story's doing.
See, that's what's weird. We can't talk about that stuff, and like the Bible does.
The Bible does.
Yeah.
And it's, man, like, you don't want to, like, it's kind of like a funny, awkward, sensational-ish kind of thing to talk about. But the sin is awful and real. The actual sin.
This
is
one's
awful and
much
real.
worse than that.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to keep her from having children.
Yeah.
What tragic thing to do
It's
to
mean.
someone. And especially with the themes that have been set so far.
Yeah, about the importance of children.
And like so many people in the story so far have been hampered with fertility. It's not been working right.
No.
And since the fall, that's been the theme. Is like that having the children it's not going well.
Oh, we skipped something.
Yeah. What would we skip?
Rachel.
Yeah.
So Rachel died in childbirth. Like having children. She died when she had Benjamin. It's very sad because God calls Jacob to go back to Bethel, the house of God, is what that means in Hebrew, and build an altar to him.
Yeah.
And on the way, or when they arrive, it's a little unclear, Rachel goes into labor with Benjamin. And she had problems with fertility, right? She had Joseph. Mm-hmm. Then she conceives, and Benjamin is born. And it says she had a difficult labor. It's something like that in the Hebrew, like it's bad.
Yeah.
And she dies. And as she dies, she names him Ben-Oni, which means the son of my sorrow. Mm-hmm. And Jacob renames him to Benjamin, son of my right hand. Mm-hmm. And it's sad. It's tragic. And it breaks Jacob, actually.
Yeah.
And that is why he treasures his relationship with Joseph so much.
Benjamin.
And Benjamin.
Both of them. They
become the favorites.
Yeah.
And but it's so you have these issues of infertility. Then you have Rachel dying in childbirth, and this dude is doing this.
He's like He's making it worse, man.
Making it worse.
And when you see the curse from chapter 3, pain in childbirth, right? And you're seeing it work itself out in the story. It's not does. Going well.
And we're in 1 Samuel in our sermon series, and Hannah at the first of it, when she has Samuel, she's barren. This just keeps coming up over and over again, and it's a narrative. Hannah's story in 1 Samuel 1 is meant to harken back to the stories we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's described almost the same way.
Yeah.
Multiple wives, rivalry between the wives. Hannah can't have a child, and she prays the Lord, and she conceives and has Samuel.
Yeah.
And I said in that sermon, and it's true, when God wants to save the world and change the world, he sends a baby. That's what he does.
Yeah, that's right.
He sends a baby. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that he's doing this is God hates it. And good news, God kills him.
Yeah,
it's
true. Yeah.
God puts him to death too.
Yeah.
And so here's the deal. The first son, whose name slips out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he messed up. He was an So dies.
Yeah.
Onan dies. Mm-hmm. Well, Judah got one more son. And he doesn't apparently know. God subtly puts him to death. He doesn't know that God's killing him. He kind of blames Tamar.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not giving my youngest son to this woman.
Yeah.
I'm going to send her back to her house because I don't want him to die.
Yeah.
Good grief, I lost 2 sons already.
Yeah.
So he sends her off and kind of forgets about her.
Yeah.
And one day, good old Judah is out there and he gets lonesome in the desert. Mm-hmm. And he's shepherding his sheep and he's like, man, I'm just lonesome.
His wife died.
His wife died. He's lonely. He's with the sheep. And he's like, hey, there's a prostitute over here. Mm-hmm. I am going to go alleviate my lonesomeness. Right? Well, it wasn't a prostitute.
No.
It was Tamar who found out that he was in the area.
Yeah.
And once again, mistaken identity, right?
Oh,
I don't know.
man.
I don't know how this happens. It must be super dark and tense.
Yeah.
I don't know. But maybe she wore a veil the whole time.
She
I'm
says
not
she
sure.
covered her face.
Yeah, she covered her face.
Yeah.
And
It has something to do with being a prostitute. He
Yeah.
thought she was a prostitute because she had covered her face.
yeah, yeah. So, because I guess they didn't want nobody to know who they were or
I
whatever
guess,
the deal
yeah,
was. It's
yeah.
a small town. The word gets around, which is actually 100% true because word gets around that she's pregnant.
Yeah, yeah.
So he goes in and he doesn't have any money. What a jerk. He goes in there and he's like, after the D, he's like, look, I don't have any money. Here's my shepherd staff. Hang on to this and I'll come back and pay you later, which he doesn't do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what a turd, man.
Yeah.
And so Tamar gets pregnant as she was trying to do.
Yeah.
And word gets around to Judah, hey, you know your daughter-in-law Tamar? Yeah. She pregnant, man. He's like, well, she needs to die. Like,
Yeah.
that's his first impulse reaction. She
Yeah.
needs to die. We're going to go ahead and get rid of her. And so he goes up there to burn her. And she's like, well, I'm pregnant by the man to whom this shepherd staff belongs.
Yeah.
And he's like, oops.
Yeah.
She's more righteous than me. Sorry. It's my kid. She's the prostitute. Yeah. And that kid, if it weren't for that kid, no Jesus.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kid is the one through whom the blessing comes.
Yep. Tamar
Yeah.
participated in that.
How about that?
Yeah.
And once again, twice, just for the ladies, the two that listen, or whatever we got out there. Rebecca and Tamar are the heroes of these stories.
Yeah.
Rebecca is the one that God talks to. Rebecca's the one that receives the prophecy. Rebecca's the one that makes sure Jacob gets it. Rebecca's the one that sends Jacob off to Laban. Rebecca spends time trying to get Esau not to kill his brother.
Yeah.
And then Tamar is the one that's like, look, we don't handle business.
Yeah.
This is wrong.
Yeah. And it was wrong. Now, like, I think a lot of people in today's age would look back at this story and they really, like, Tamar's the villain.
No, she's not.
I know, right.
She's the victim.
But it's like our perception of things is like Tamar's villain. Look, she's out here.
You say Tamar. Is it Tamar or Tamar?
Tamar?
Is it what?
Hebrew is
Tamar.
everything is at the end, right? Tamar, right?
Yeah.
All the accents are at the end.
Yeah, is this like croissant or croissant?
Well, if
I
it
don't know
was
how to
Hebrew,
say
it'd be
it in English no more.
croissant.
Croissant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's
Croissant.
Isn't
You gotta-
that right? With Hebrew, it's all
Yeah,
it's all at the
mostly.
end. Yeah.
But we're talking English. But also, you got to make sure you get the emphasis on the right syllable, or stuff sounds weird.
Yeah. So Tamar, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. She is actually the hero in this, and
Yes.
you gotta bridge the gap culturally.
I don't know. Hero might be a bit much.
It might be,
but she's
yeah.
the conduit of the blessing.
Yes.
and she's the one that saves the day. And what's weird is this.
She's victimized in the story.
Yes.
She's a victim, is really what I mean by that. It's
Here's
like,
a big deal.
Yeah.
You ready for a big deal?
I'm ready for a big deal.
The big deal is we like for stuff to be black and white, good and bad. We don't like morally gray, especially Southern Baptists. You know, we don't dance because we don't drink because it might lead to dancing. I mean, me and you drink, but we don't.
Yeah.
We to hide it at least. We don't.
Not really, no.
Not really. So it's like
Yeah.
the
Moderation, folks. Moderation.
Actually,
only.
I don't anymore because it goes straight to my hips.
Man,
Like,
it's a
how-
calorie bomb,
Good
dude.
night.
Yeah.
Blop.
Yeah.
A moment on the lips and eternity on the hips.
Yeah.
Is that
We're
how
just
it
not
goes?
going to judge you if you enjoy a beer.
It's dumb. Anyway,
We will if you enjoy 12.
but we do at
Yeah.
once.
Yeah, at once. Yeah.
Yeah, we will judge you and make fun of you. And if you pass out, we'll paint on
and
your
if
face.
you're our church member, we're going to call you out on it.
call you out.
Yeah, because that's drunkenness.
So we like black and white, like rules, and we like for the good guys to, win and the bad guys to lose. The point of this is that these people are making, at the very least, questionable moral decisions, if not outright bad decisions, right?
Yeah.
And God is using these people to bring about his promises.
Yeah.
So Tamar does this thing, questionable. Judah is definitely wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
Onan's definitely wrong.
Onan should be dead.
Yeah,
But
he
God is going to use Tamar and that baby to bring about salvation.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the same thing in the story of Joseph.
Yeah.
Like questionable to downright evil decisions that actually have to be made for things to turn out like they are supposed to.
Yeah.
That's
true.
wild.
Yep. And that's
So
Genesis,
it should give us
man.
hope, because everybody thinks, if how many times have you heard young people say, I'm afraid I'm going to miss God's will? Or
Oh, my goodness,
I don't know what God's will for my life is. Like God's up there biting his celestial fingernails. Like, boy, if Brad doesn't marry the right person or get the right house or, leave for work at the time I need him to, all my plans for him are shattered.
Yep. Yep. That's I've thought that stuff before.
Yeah.
But I've also just come across it, just this kind of like weird destiny mapping, that people do for the will of God.
Find and fulfill your destiny.
Yeah.
How to find God's will for your life.
Yeah. And actually, you could really, the whole thing needs to be reversed. Instead of always asking the question, like, how can you know God's will for your life? Like, the question should be reversed in, how can your life change for God's will? Like that's like, the whole thing is like, how do you find, how does your life begin to take on God's will? You become a different person, right? That's the way God's will always
do
in
some
the
self-work.
scriptures is. It's actually about the kind of person that he's turning you into by the power of his Holy Spirit for his glory and your benefit.
It's not about you anyway.
It's not about decision making. It's not about which job you get, which path you go in your career or anything.
Yeah.
It's about like this transformation of you from dead in your trespasses and sins into the glorious image of Jesus.
Here's how I will tell you God's will for your life.
Yep.
Everybody listen, get real close around the speakers here.
Yep.
Love God with all of your heart. Love your neighbor as yourself. Be responsible for the things that God makes you responsible for.
Yep.
The end.
That's it.
That is it.
Yep.
That's it. Take care of your family.
Yep.
Don't be I don't even know how to call people names anymore. I'm so self-conscious about that. Don't be a bad person.
Yeah. Like, and so you read stories like this, and I think it really frames up some good perspective in our expectations.
Yeah.
God exclusively uses people who've made bad decisions.
There are no people who haven't made bad
That's all
decisions.
there is to use.
There is nobody.
Yeah, that's all there is. You have made bad decisions. These people have made bad decisions.
You've never voted for a good person.
No.
You never
No.
talked to a good person.
Never.
Never.
You've never been friends with a good person?
No.
Never
Everybody got
admired a
their
good person?
garbage.
Well, unless you admire Jesus. I mean, he's a good person.
And he's the only one. He's the only one
He's
good.
the sole exception.
A sole exception.
Yeah.
So, have you made decisions that were harmful to you and others? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Will God still bring about his will for you in your life? Yes, because what is God's will for you?
Yeah.
It is your sanctification. It is your progress in holiness. It is your journey to Christ-likeness.
Yeah.
That's his will.
Yeah.
And he will smack you upside the head with all kinds of stuff to get you there.
And if you're in Christ, it's going to happen to you no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to awake in glory one day and formed into the image of Christ, whether you like it or not.
You like it.
Yeah.
Dead or alive,
Yeah.
you're coming with me. It's a RoboCop Jesus.
Yeah. And that's true, though.
Don't sweat it. God, the purpose here, I mean, sweat the things we told you to. Love the Lord and love your neighbor and stuff,
Yeah.
but don't sweat like other things. Like, just get counsel. Hey, am I doing the right thing? Is this, or not even the right thing in the sense that there's only one right thing I can do? It's like, is this, I tell counsel
this
kids all the
sinful?
time.
Yeah.
Is this sinful? Is it lawful? And
Yeah.
what I mean by lawful is not just, does it check the box, but like, if I did this, would it be good for me and my community?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you open a plumbing business or you go to nursing school. It's like, what do you want to do? Both of these things are lawful.
Yeah.
You can help people. You can support your family doing these things, whatever they might be.
Yeah.
What do you like doing? And if you start hating it, do something else.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, even you can quit pastoring.
You can.
You can. It's okay.
Yeah.
The God's not holding a gun to your head. If you don't want to do it no more,
You can start
preacher,
pastoring.
You can start pastoring. That's a fact.
Yeah.
If you want
I
to
quit, one of you might need to start.
Hey, and listen, well, I mean, but
Yeah.
seriously, it says people make everything super mystical, and it's not. It's
do,
not in
yeah.
the Bible mystical. It's
Yeah.
like he who desires the office of overseer desires a good thing. Desires it.
Yeah.
And
Desires
I don't know what happened there. I went super country. I'm Appalachian hillbilly.
Yeah.
So, if you don't desire it, don't do it. Like everybody on Sand Mountain, all these preachers,
I
country
know,
preachers,
yeah.
I run from the call of God for 8 years, and he finally chased me down and made me be a preacher. And I'm like, no, he didn't, man.
You
Quit
wanted
saying that
to.
dumb stuff. You just,
Yeah.
you-
It's good that you wanted to.
if you don't want to, God's like, okay,
Yeah.
you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Well, it's he who desires the office. It's a strong desire.
Yeah.
It's a strong word, like akin to lust.
Yeah.
Like if you want to, you can. If you don't want to, you're disqualified.
Yep.
You got to have the want to. And
Yeah.
if you're in there and you're like, I don't want to do this no more, like,
You better not.
you better not.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Don't be like, I've got to. God has his gun in my head, and I'm so important to these people that if I quit, shoot me in the face if that ever happens. Rights, I mean, secretly, I don't want you. I don't want you to get in
I'm not
trouble.
actually just going to shoot you.
Bury me in
But
the
hey,
backyard.
Hey, we'll just have a conversation.
Yeah, well,
We'll
like,
go to
Brad,
Firehouse.
are you miserable?
Hey,
Like,
do you want to go to Firehouse later?
I 100% do. I'm eating that Cajun chicken sandwich
Yeah.
today. I love that thing, man. It's got just enough jalapenos on it to make you happy.
Yeah, that's right.
know.
So,
And it's not so.
I think that was a good summary of the big deal of these passages about the downfall of the family of Jacob. Here the big deal is that of course there's a downfall.
Yeah.
Of like, what else could there be?
Yeah.
We're caught in a sin spiral.
A spirally sin.
the
I told
only
somebody the
thing-
other
yeah,
day,
yeah.
I counsel people, sometimes you can get in so deep, and it maybe not even your fault, that there is no good choice.
Yeah.
Like there is not a choice that you can make that doesn't bring harm to someone or something.
That's true.
And that is very difficult. And I counsel soldiers, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes they make decisions that there is no good way. Like when it's like down to it, and it's like, my friends are going to die, or these guys are going to die.
Yeah.
It's like this is where stuff gets real.
Yeah.
Or you're in a situation where maybe you're in. I don't know. There's so many things that can happen. Relationships break up.
Yeah.
You have earlier divorce. Maybe you've had an abortion. Decisions that you've made in your life that will make things difficult down the road where you're like, I'm not sure there's a decision here where it doesn't feel like somebody's hurt no matter what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those situations happen. And I think that's a good summary of like what's happening, at least in this story with Judah and with Tamar. It's like, I mean, what else is she supposed to do?
What are you supposed to do?
I don't know.
So like Jacob, like let's say he got convicted all of a sudden. Hey man, maybe I should have just had one wife, and I got 4.
Yeah.
Well, in his day, if he divorces those other 3 women, that could be a starvation sentence.
Oh
for them.
man, they're done.
Yeah,
Their
and
life
so
is over.
like,
Yeah.
What do you, if you go and you preach in a place where they still have multiple wives? These places exist.
Yeah.
And
Utah.
that husband is the sole Utah. I was thinking more like Middle East, someplace in Africa, but yeah, Utah. No, Utah. I have. Well, you know what though? In Utah, I have different advice because we live in the land of plenty. And if you get rid of some extra wives, they're not going to starve.
Okay, I thought you were going a different direction with that.
Dude,
being the land of plenty.
No.
Not plenty wives.
Not plenty. But no, see, like if you're in Africa somewhere in the bush and this chieftain has 3 wives and he gets rid of 2 of them, like you need to take care of them the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Until if somebody else will marry them.
Yeah.
Even though they got your kids, you got to support them.
Yeah.
In every way, because you've made decisions that have set them up for failure. So is that sin or not? Oh, well, we got decisions to make here. Utah,
Yeah. Hey, here's a good one. We'll just keep on rolling with this.
Yeah.
The situation of like, what do you, it's just going to hurt someone no matter what. It's a difficult situation. So say you have, like a homosexual couple who have children.
Yes.
And the Lord saves them.
Yeah.
Like,
and they're like, this relationship's not right.
Yep, this relationship's not right.
Kids are like 9 and 10. Formative years.
This stuff is happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this stuff is happening. And so, how do you separate care for the children, care for each other? There's some financial situation with each other. That is a complex. And you see, like the church has a huge role in this kind of stuff to support and help and to help these people figure this out and support them in that difficult situation, man. That's wild.
Or like transgender person comes to your church who has transitioned.
Yep.
Comes to the Lord and was like, I am convicted that I'm a man and I've transitioned. How do I live my life now?
Yeah.
That's some stuff right there.
Yep, that is. These are complex situations, man, and it's not black and white.
It's super hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, there's not like a manual in the back of your Bible.
Some situations are easier than others.
Yeah, but there's not like you can flip into the back of your Bible and it says, "Oh, this is your situation.
This is how we do it.
This is step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5."
Yeah,
it's a ton of wisdom, needed.
Or even somebody who's like is a Christian and has some sort of, I'm trying to say this nicely, perversion or something that they struggle with, whether it's a pornography addiction, same-sex attraction, or whatever, that they just is against God's one man, one woman in marriage for life thing. Name it. It's just being a hooligan, sleeping around, whatever. You have to walk with people through these things, and those desires and those things don't just get turned off like a light switch because you came to Jesus.
Yeah,
it don't happen.
Yeah. It takes it's a long road to walk down with people,
and people are gonna fail.
Yeah, they are gonna fail. You're gonna fail in your advice that you give them.
Yeah, you're gonna tell them dumb stuff.
Probably.
I have given dumb advice.
Oh man, that's the only advice I give.
Well, I always do the opposite of what you tell me, so that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I know it's all bad. So it's like, do the opposite thing. That's not true at all.
Well, what a wild ride we went on today, man.
Yeah. Oh, I got to tell you something.
Is there something else?
Yes.
Okay.
At the end of my interview, for my old man interview, they're asking me now. The guy is a good guy. He's my buddy by the end because he started picking up on my jokes, right? That I was messing with him.
Yeah.
And he asked me, what can I do for quiet times with my wife? Like, how can we pray together better? And
he knows you're a pastor. And he's a Christian.
Oh, yeah, I'd let that slip at the end. And he's like, what do you do? Well, when I told him, am I sad at some point? I was like, dude, I'm a pastor and a chaplain. I'm broke.
Yeah.
And not in the money sense, but like spiritually always.
Yeah,
just like,
money, you're loaded.
Oh, I'm loaded. I'm just
He's a rich man.
Throwing dollar bills.
He's got Taj Mahal sitting on his back there.
That I had to build.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, you can have one too if you believe. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. It was a joke.
No. Yeah, I always tell my son when he was like 16, I got a 7-year-old F-150 crew cab, and he was really admiring it, kind of hinting in that direction. I said, son, listen. I put my arm around him. I said, buddy, if you'll work hard and you'll apply yourself and do well in school and study and go to college, then when you are a 45-year-old man, you'll be able to afford a used vehicle also. That's what I told him.
Oh,
and he was like,
man, that's
you
funny.
think so, Dad? Yeah, son, it's the American dream, boy, I tell you.
So your old man visit.
My old man Missy asked me, like, what can you do?
The quiet times.
Yeah, about quiet times. And I said, first of all, I don't know if I can help you, but I'm going to try. I said, don't make it weird.
Yeah.
Like you're lecturing your wife on the Bible.
Sit her down
don't sit her down
and
say, today, darling, we're going to go over John chapter 1. Or something weird. I said, first of all, it feels weird because it's super intimate. And it's like scary because these are things that like really matter, which is why you should do it and talk to one another about things. I said, just get like a verse from the Bible, just a verse of the day, and then just say, hey, what'd you think about the verse of the day? And then pray together or something. Easy. Push the easy button, man.
Yeah.
Just keep it on your mind.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be like getting online and searching down Bible studies together.
No.
Or maybe just like send your wife to a woman's Bible study and ask her how it went.
Yeah.
Like don't make it weird.
Yeah. I think some of that stuff is personality based. And like we do stuff all together as a family every night. And we read a Bible story. We sing a verse of a hymn together. We all pray together with the kids and stuff, and I mean it's one of our favorite times of the day. Kids to everyone.
It's
loves
super
it.
fun. You're
It's
like
super
in the
fun.
wheelhouse now of the funnest when you can sing, "My God is so big, so
Yep.
strong."
But they're
when
not going to be
16,
little kids.
They don't like it.
They're not going to be little kids anymore. But so it'll transition and stuff.
It's so weird. Like my 20-year-old son won't even let me tuck him in anymore. It's like so bizarre.
And so, but
He might.
That's like it's personality based, but it's also like time.
It is.
Yeah, and like life stage based
Yeah.
and stuff.
You should talk to your kids though. Don't just think your church is doing it all.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And even if you failed horrifically,
Yeah. My dad was really great. My stepdad, who raised me and stuff, he was really great about reading the Bible with us as like teenagers. Like we did that nearly every night. And he wasn't like a Bible genius or nothing. He'd only been saved like a couple of years and stuff. But I think he just knew who he was talking to. He was like, I'm talking to my children.
yeah,
Like, I'm talking with my wife.
yeah.
I'm not in a Sunday school class. I'm not talking to pastors. I'm talking to my family. He realized who he was talking to.
But that's
And it helped a lot.
also one of those situations that we're talking about, right? That's your stepdad, but he owned it like children.
Yeah.
Like I'm just going to be their dad.
That's right. And that's how it was. Yeah.
I'm not going to compete with biological dad. I'm not going to do
Yeah.
it. But while they're
Yeah.
here, I'm dadding them.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're going to be like my kids.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to make differences and make one of them a multicolored coat like Joseph and send them off.
Put it back in the story. Yeah.
I guess we'll have to get to Joseph next time. But yeah. So those are hard situations, and you get in situations where like you got to get along with your wife's ex, or you got to get along with your husband's ex,
yeah.
right? And you have to be friends, and you have to tag team, even if they hate your guts, because the reason you're. If you're a woman, the reason you're married to this dude's because you cheated on your other husband with this guy, right? That's the stuff that happens, man. We're just talking real life while we're here.
Yeah.
We're talking shop.
We got
and
some
then
real life stuff.
you realize I have sinned.
Yeah.
This was a sin, and this dude kind of hates my guts, but we have to work this out.
Yeah.
And like should be some repentance there.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I shouldn't have done that, but here we are. I can't divorce this dude, or I can't divorce this woman and go back to you. And now you've got your other woman, and we got this weird kind of I hate you. And yet at the same time, it's my first love, or whatever's going on in your brain, dude.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
hard.
It is, yeah. It's
You
a hard
stop
world,
me when
man.
I start telling lies.
Yeah,
we
no,
can't act
you
like
got no-
everything's
no,
sanitized in the
it's not
world.
that,
We
no.
got pews full of people that have jacked themselves up and go in
Yeah.
there and smile and sing, and in their hearts like, I got to take the kids back to their dad today, and I freaking hate it because
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And the preachers up
Good
there,
luck, folks.
and I mean, the vast majority of people are preaching these little saccharine sermons about how to make your life great, and it's a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
Man, it is.
Yeah.
Read the Bible. There was the 1 Corinthians. There's a dude sleeping with his dad's wife.
Yeah.
What? Is he sleeping with his mama? It don't even like say stepmom or nothing.
It just says his dad's
And the
wife,
church
yeah.
didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
And Paul's like, get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
What are you doing? And then the next time he wrote, and he's like, well, whatever y'all did, it was enough. Y'all kind of got to restore this guy. I don't know
Yeah.
if they beat him up at church or what. It's like,
Just stone him or something.
stone him, kick him out. I was like, get out of here, don't come back. It's like,
Oh,
that
man.
guy can still be saved. He talks about how wicked people are adulterers, murderers, liars, effeminate. Talking about dudes. It's okay for a woman to be effeminate. Homosexuals, right? He says all these things. And at the end, he says, and such were some of you. That's what he says. Other people say that stuff. These folks, if you're worth a flip as a church, in your congregation, it's got some jacked up stuff going on.
Yeah.
You gotta love them people.
It's true. All right. I have no idea how we ended up in all of these things.
Easy, man. Tamar's out there prostituting herself to her former father-in-law so she can have a baby, and God makes that baby the line of Jesus.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. We got there because of that,
okay,
I think.
Judah is in your church.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
You know, and he's got his little toddler boy, and it's like, oh, hey, where's his mama? It's like, well, that's kind of a story.
Yeah.
I slept with my daughter-in-law. This is a long story.
Could you imagine if that family showed up on Sunday morning?
If the tribe of Jacob shows up at your church on Sunday, how you going to deal with them people? Got 4 wives, 11 kids, jumping on the furniture. In my opinion, these kids were wild children, probably just wrecking balls. How you going to parent that many children?
Yeah.
Who even is the parent? Is Rebecca responsible? I'm sorry, is Rachel responsible for whooping Bill Haas kids if they get out of control?
Who knows, man?
Who's the disciplinarian? Jacob's over there hiding in his tent. He's got 4 women, and every single one of them hate him, probably.
Yeah.
It's he comes in and is like, Pastor, I need to talk to you. It's like, what? What?
All right.
I will never forget. I had a pastor friend that had a guy in his congregation that had been married 7 times. 7 times. And he had just gotten married the 8th time to his 3rd wife, and he was wanting to leave her. So he had gone back and married one of the wives he had divorced before. And he was getting on up there. Like, apparently, there's a limit to the number of times you can get married in certain states, or there used to be. And he's like, well, we had to go to Georgia and stuff. And it's like, but she's driving me crazy. I remember why I divorced her the first time. It's like, I'm retiring.
What in the world?
Man, there's some people out there.
Golly.
I'm telling you.
That just earned a good old Jimison, Alabama. Golly.
Golly. And you guys sit there behind your desk and be like, oh, man. Sometimes I just tell people stuff. Just very hard.
Yeah, you got to.
You got to. People come in for benevolence so they can't find a job.
Have you looked?
It's like, I used to have a stack of resumes from a guy who worked at a chicken plant. Yeah. And he was the manager. Mm-hmm. And he said, if anybody ever comes in here and says they don't have a job, hand them this resume, put my name at the top, and they'll be hired.
All right, we got to get going, man. We're running out of time. Yeah. You're going in all the directions.
Am I? You got to reel me in. Pull me back. Pull me back.
All right. Here we go. Guys, everyone, thank y'all so much for listening to the Big Deal Podcast. We went everywhere today, but I hope it was helpful. It was enlightening, I think.
Yeah.
Especially in light of the passages we were reading today. That's the big deal about the downfall of Jacob's children and really just the world.
Yeah.
This is what it's like to live in the world.
It's a fallen world.
Yeah.
That's not a cliche.
Yeah. So if you're on if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, go ahead and follow. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. Thank you, everybody. See y'all later.